Janice Ray uses lots of figurative language through the text like metaphors to display her story. On page 71, she says, "In 1995, the junkyard began as a crumb glint in my father's eye. This demonstrates the importance the meaningless junkyard had in her father and how it was perceived in his mind, and how this affected the rest of her life living all around it." On page 26, she said a go-kart was like an old model Harvey. You would have worked for any pleasure it offered. This simply demonstrates the joy and thrill her and her brothers received from the items in the junkyard, and how they enjoyed making the most out of the little they had through their inhabitants of the junkyard, and using their imaginations to create wonders with the world. She also uses a lot of personification. On page 23, she says, "God isn't like a clear cut. It makes them wince and wonder what's wrong with his creation, and sets them thinking about what spoils a child." This is basically saying God doesn't give you a clear path to success or a life without hardship or failure. Yet the junkyard has some brilliances. It is generally a struggle to live in and a struggle to survive. Janice Ray includes the ecology of the pine and its relationship with the fierce Georgia thunderstorms, more specifically, the lightning. She says on page 35, "The lightning announced itself lightly to the pine over a summer evening. I ran over this land," it said. "You must leave immediately." This descriptive personifying knowledge magnifies her relationship with her surrounding ecology and also shows us the ferociousness of the southern Georgia weather. She also describes the ecology of the pine forest and the great story they tell. On page 65, she says, "A longleaf pine forest is full of secrets." She explains how their secrets come with a prevalent and ancient history dating up to almost 500 years. She also talks about the extreme strength and power of the trees, physically and emotionally, that empowered her to be who she is today. Lastly, she incorporates the financial and economic effect of the pine tree on her life and how it's affected Georgia and United States commerce. On page 100, she says, "A writer in the New York Times predicted that the people of the southern states will soon find expedient to protect their forests." This quote meaning to protect the money-making product of timber, but also to protect an important part of the ecosystem, especially for those of the South. "There are many biotic influences in my life, but the most important are the trees around my house and in my yard. The trees create a scenic and peaceful atmosphere for me to feel at home and comfortable. They also bring in numerous amounts of wildlife, like insects and birds, that give me and my home more of a feeling of natural reality and make me feel like I'm a part of a greater environment." Another important biotic factor in my personal ecology are the plants and flowers surrounding my house. The plants and flowers create a colorful and diverse array of natural life and help me greater appreciate where I live and what I see on a day-to-day basis. The scenery urges me to spend time outdoors and greater appreciate the ecology of the house I've lived in my whole life. Lastly, the most important factor in my life, and that has had the greatest impact on me, is my phone. My phone enables me to stay social, search the web, and communicate with anyone, anywhere in the world. In addition, its ability to be personalized helps me and many others to have our own self-identity and to be unique, to be ourselves. In conclusion, the moral and theme that Janice Ray conveys throughout her life story is, life may not be the easiest for you, but what you make of it and how you come from it will ultimately lead you to the finish line, in whatever way that is for you, in whichever way, shape, or form you perceive that to be, and what you want to be for the rest of your life.